That Sunday evening phone call, I met my wife's eyes and asked the question that changed us forever. The weight of silence. The Dubai skyline glittered through the floor-to-ceiling windows as Farhan sat at their dining table, pushing food around his plate. The silence between him and Zara had become their third companion lately, unwelcome yet persistent. She moved through their apartment like a ghost of the woman he'd married 3 years ago, and tonight that distance felt unbearable. Zara cleared her throat from across the table, her delicate fingers wrapped around a wine glass she hadn't touched. Her dark hair fell in waves over her shoulders, and even in the dim lighting, Farhan could see the exhaustion in her amber eyes. When had he last truly looked at her? Really seen her? His phone buzzed, but he ignored it. Everything could wait, his latest architectural project, his demanding clients, even his own pride. The truth was, he'd been drowning in work for months, using it as a shield against the uncomfortable reality growing in their home. But tonight, something shifted in his chest, a desperate need to understand what had gone wrong. "Remember when we couldn't keep our hands off each other?" Farhan said softly, breaking the oppressive quiet. "When every Sunday was sacred, just you and me." Zara's eyes flickered with something, pain, perhaps, or recognition. She set down her glass with trembling hands. 3 years ago, they'd stood before family and friends, promising forever with such certainty. Their honeymoon in Santorini felt like another lifetime, stolen moments on whitewashed balconies, making love as the Aegean sunset painted their skin in gold. But now they were strangers sharing a bed, polite roommates navigating around each other's wounds. Farhan's heart hammered as he prepared himself for what came next. He'd rehearsed this moment countless times, but the words still caught in his throat like broken glass. The question was coming. The one that terrified him most. The haunting question. Farhan stood from the table, his chair scraping against the marble floor. He walked around to where Zara sat, kneeling beside her so their eyes were level. His hands shook as he reached for hers, finding them cold despite the warm evening air flowing through the open balcony door. "Zara," he whispered, his voice cracking with emotion. "I need to know something, and I need you to be honest with me, even if it hurts." She turned to face him fully, and he saw tears already forming in those beautiful eyes that had once looked at him with such adoration. His throat tightened, but he pushed forward, knowing that avoiding this question would destroy them more surely than any answer she could give. "Do you still love me the way you used to?" The words hung in the air between them like a confession. Zara's breath hitched, and a single tear traced down her cheek. She pulled one hand free to cover her mouth, her whole body trembling. The silence stretched so long that Farhan thought he might shatter from the weight of it. She started, then stopped, more tears falling. "Farhan, I don't even know anymore. I love you, but I'm so tired of feeling invisible." The admission struck him like a physical blow, but there was relief in it too, the relief of finally naming the wound. He remembered their first date, how she'd laughed at his terrible jokes, how they'd talked until dawn in that small cafe in Jumeirah. He remembered proposing on the beach, the way she'd said yes before he'd even finished asking, throwing herself into his arms with such joy. "When did I become invisible to you?" he asked, his own tears starting. "When did your work become more important than my heart?" she countered, her voice breaking but gaining strength. Confessions under moonlight. Farhan stood and gently pulled Zara to her feet, leading her to the balcony where the city's lights twinkled like earthbound stars. The warm breeze carried the scent of jasmine from the garden below, and for a moment they simply stood side by side, not touching, but present with each other in a way they hadn't been for months. "I'm scared," Farhan admitted, his voice barely audible over the distant traffic. "I'm scared that I've failed you, that I've become the kind of husband who's so focused on providing that he forgot why he was providing in the first place." Zara wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "I married you because you made me feel alive, Farhan. Not because of your success or your ambition. I fell in love with a man who would surprise me with rooftop picnics and handwritten notes tucked into my purse." "I remember," he said, turning to face her. "I remember everything. The way you hummed while designing, how you'd steal my coffee every morning, the sound of your laugh when I'd pull you close in the kitchen." She let out a shaky breath. "I thought maybe you'd fallen out of love with me. That I wasn't enough anymore." "Never," Farhan said fiercely, reaching for her hands again. This time, she let him take them, and he brought them to his lips, kissing her knuckles tenderly. You've always been more than enough. I got lost, Zara. I got so caught up in proving myself that I forgot the only person I needed to prove anything to was you, that I could be the husband you deserved. The moonlight caught the tears on her face as she looked up at him, and he saw something shift in her expression, a softening, a crack in the wall she'd built around her heart. I miss you, she whispered. I'm right here, he replied, pulling her closer. And I'm not going anywhere. Rekindling the flame. Farhan's arms wrapped around Zara's waist, drawing her against his chest. She didn't resist, instead melting into his embrace as if remembering how perfectly they fit together. Her head rested against his shoulder, and he felt her tears dampening his shirt. His hand moved to stroke her hair, the silky strands slipping through his fingers like they had on countless nights before distance crept between them. Dance with me, he murmured against her temple. Without waiting for an answer, he pulled out his phone and played their wedding song, the one they'd chosen together after hours of debate and laughter. The soft melody drifted across the balcony as he guided her into a slow sway, their bodies remembering the rhythm even if their hearts had forgotten. Zara lifted her head, her amber eyes searching his face in the moonlight. I've missed this. Missed us. Farhan cupped her face in his hands, his thumbs brushing away the remaining tears. I've been a fool, Habibti. Every late night at the office, every missed dinner, every time I chose a blueprint over you, I was building a life but forgetting to live it with the only person who matters. She rose on her toes, and he met her halfway, their lips finding each other in a kiss that spoke of apology, forgiveness, and desperate longing. It started gentle, tentative, but quickly deepened as 3 months of suppressed emotion poured between them. Her fingers threaded through his hair, pulling him closer, and he groaned against her mouth. They stumbled back inside, hands exploring, relearning. Farhan lifted her easily, carrying her toward their bedroom while her lips traced a path along his jaw. Between kisses, they whispered promises, to communicate, to prioritize each other, to never let silence build walls again. That night, they reconnected not just physically but spiritually, each touch a declaration, each whispered endearment a vow renewed. A new beginning. Morning light filtered through the curtains, painting their bedroom in shades of gold and amber. Farhan woke first, watching Zara sleep peacefully beside him, her hair spread across the pillow like dark silk. Her hand rested on his chest, and he covered it with his own, marveling at how one honest conversation could transform everything. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open to meet his. A soft smile curved her lips, the first genuine smile he'd seen in months, and his heart swelled with gratitude for this second chance. Good morning, my love, he whispered, pressing a kiss to her forehead. Good morning, she replied, stretching languidly before snuggling closer. Last night was just the beginning, Farhan promised. I want to make you a promise, Zara. Every Sunday evening, it's ours. No work calls, no distractions. Just us. And every day, I'll ask you how you are and actually listen to the answer. I'll leave you notes again, plan surprise dates, and never let you feel invisible. Tears of happiness glistened in her eyes. And I promise to tell you when I'm feeling neglected instead of building walls. To fight for us, not against you. They spent the morning in bed, talking about their dreams, their fears, and their plans for the future. By afternoon, they'd created a relationship manifesto, weekly date nights, daily meaningful conversations, monthly getaways, and the courage to always ask the difficult questions before they became insurmountable obstacles. As they sat together on the balcony that evening, Zara in Farhan's lap, watching the sunset paint Dubai's skyline in brilliant colors, they both understood that love wasn't just a feeling, it was a choice made every single day. Lessons from Farhan and Zara's journey. The courage to ask difficult questions, even when the answers terrify us, is the foundation of authentic love that endures through every season of life. True intimacy blooms not in the absence of distance, but in the vulnerable moments when two hearts choose to bridge that distance with honesty and grace. Love is not a destination we arrive at once, but a sacred journey we must consciously choose every morning, nurturing it with presence, communication, and unwavering commitment. The most profound transformations in relationships begin when we stop building walls of silence and start building bridges of compassionate truth, remembering that our partner deserves our whole heart, not just the leftover pieces.